It's Native American Heritage Month, and we are celebrating here in the kitchen with a recipe from the author of, I love this title, The Sioux Chef's Indigenous Kitchen.
We are so excited about this one. Joining us now to share his white tepary bean and cedar turkey cassoulet from the book is Executive Director of the North American Traditional Indigenous Food Systems nonprofit. Welcome, Chef Sean Sherman. Thanks for coming. It does smell really good. So tell us, what are we making and how do we do it?
Well, I wanted to grab some ingredients. People can use some ideas after the holiday and use some turkey when it's all set up. But we have some caramelized onions here. We're throwing in some squash. We're going to throw in a little bit of tomato. And we're just going to soften that up and just a pinch of salt. And just let that cook.
And you already had onions in the pot, right?
Yeah, we already started caramelizing because it's kind of a process. This will take a few hours to do in total, you know. So then moving on to the next, after the squash is nicely kind of softened up a little bit.
The magic of television.
We can add all the stuff. So these tepary beans are really unique. They're an heirloom varietal of native beans coming from the southwest, northern Mexico. They're drought resistant. They're really super cool.
This was the first time that I had heard of tepary beans.
Yeah, they're super
So what are they similar to?
You know, it's a bean, but they're really dense, and they take a little bit longer to cook because they're so dry. But they hold their form really well, and they're just got a little sweetness. And this is true hand harvested rice from wild rice from Minnesota. So it's not like the black rice you find in the grocery stores. This stuff comes off the lakes, wild, harvested from canoe, and it's just a really beautiful product.
Shout out to Minnesota.
And you said that's fresh from this year.
Absolutely. And then you would have your pulled turkey after you have your holiday dinner. And we're just trying to show people how they can kind of indigenize their holiday dinner.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
By using some native products.
So tell us about this recipe. And its history, its origin.
Well, obviously, I mean, it's just kind of a stew. The term cassoulet is a French term, but it's kind of just to give people an idea of what it's kind of like. But it's just a bean, squash, and turkey stew, basically, when it comes down to it. So it's really simple.
And how long
you're
do
just
you
going
keep
to
it
let
on
this
the
sit for a
stovetop?
while because you want to simmer it down until it starts to get a little bit of thickness. And you can see here where it's really nicely coming together. And then this is fresh white cedar, which I literally harvested wild from my backyard in Minnesota, as it's all over. And you can kind of smell it. It smells like the forest a little bit, but it just adds in a little bit of nice flavor.
I've never heard of adding cedar to your...
Well, we're just using the ingredients around us. So our philosophy was showcasing indigenous foods by removing European colonial ingredients. So we took away dairy, wheat flour, cane sugar, beef, pork, chicken, and focused on wild foods, native heirloom varietals of agricultural products like corns and beans and squash, and just native proteins that are out there.
So does it add a little spice to it, or?
Yeah, it's going to just really settle in nicely, and it just kind of tastes like the forest, you know? It's really beautiful.
Oh, wow.
We make a lot of wild teas with it. We throw it in braises. You know, there's a lot of conifers that we use, but this one's one of my favorites.
And before we taste, tell us about your nonprofit.
So North American Traditional Indigenous Food Systems, which is the long term, Natives is the short term. We have a market space in Minneapolis called Indigenous Food Lab, and we also have a classroom studio. We're going to be teaching about all facets of Indigenous education, and so there'll be a ton of videos on our website for that, for people to learn about culinary and cooking and food preservation and gardening and seed saving and wild foods and language and so forth. And also the restaurant Owamni, which won Best New Restaurant by the James Beard Award last year in the entire nation.
Bravo.
That's also a part of our nonprofit because we're using the restaurant as a place to create lots of jobs because we have 120 employees there. And we're just pushing tens of thousands of dollars of indigenous food products through that restaurant and creating a space for the public to actually come and try, because we believe there should be native restaurants in every single city, because you can find food from all over the world here in New York, but good luck finding a restaurant that represents the land and the history of where we're standing.
Making change.
And this is food that people will recognize. This feels very familiar.
Absolutely, because it's just flavors of North America, true North American flavors, you know, because American foods aren't just hamburgers and Coca-Cola. There's a whole backbone traditional history of what indigenous peoples were utilizing for countless generations. And we're just trying to showcase the beauty of all this wonderful flavor around us.
Yeah. All right, Eva's favorite part.
I know,
Let's try it.
Let's give it a little taste.
Yes, yes.
You got some fried sage on top as a garnish.
Ooh.
You go first and tell me what you think, Eva. Is it good?
It is so good.
Yeah, perfect for this season, right?
Yeah, because it's cold outside.
Yeah. We just encourage people to find some of these native food products out there. So our market, we're moving into selling online eventually here. But the cookbook that we have out just has a ton of great ideas for people to use this kind of cooking and the kind of philosophy that we have around it. And it's really healthy because everything's gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, soy-free, pork-free.
And there's always too much turkey at the end.
It's true. It's true.
Our thanks to you, Chef Sean Sherman. The Sioux Chef's Indigenous Kitchen is now available everywhere books are sold. And for today's recipe, go to goodmorningamerica.com/food, or you can scan that QR code that's right there on your screen.
And it really is good.
It's so good.
Well, hey.
Hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.